What's up, Cody May from Sheridan Street? Vikram Deal here from the Real Estate Sales Academy. Cody and I want to talk today to you guys about something that's super valuable right now in the world that we live in. And there's this thing called seasons, right? Tony Robbins talks a lot about this. I'm sure other people, Bedros Keuilian, Sharon. I know that I've heard. I think almost every speaker talk about seasons. But like, what is the seasons, Cody? Like, let's just break down. Like, we have winter, spring, right, fall, and
summer.
But what do the seasons mean in business, though, for people that never heard of this before?
Seasons in business. I think that if I could boil it down to a saying that my good friend Neil Morden always said to me, he said, don't let the highs get too high and don't let the lows get too low. Because I think that in business, we experience peaks and we experience valleys. And sometimes some seasons require more of us, or they require different things than other seasons in business. And the season of business that a lot of us are in right now, especially in the real estate game, and the people I speak with and the conversations we have with real estate agents and teams and just business owners from across North America, is that we're in a season that is requiring a lot more of us. And it's a season of change. And it's a season where it's like a lot of us might feel like we're working 2 to 3 times the amount where we worked last year in order to get the same results. And some people are choosing to show up in the season, and other people are choosing not to show up in the season. And different seasons require different things.
So when we talk about seasons, right? So I kind of want to break it down. So like if we think about seasons like winter, fall, spring, summer, the summer is where we reap the harvest, right? So the summer is where you go out, you're working early in the morning as a farmer, you're collecting your reward, your bounty for the hard work. Winter, right? That's when the land is dormant. That's when the land is asleep, right? It's rest time. It's preparation for spring to plant. Right now, we are, depending on who you talk to, we are 30 to 50% less inventory because there's just less houses to buy. So right now, for a lot of people, it's like a fall or a winter season. And what that means is when we hit fall or winter, we need to think about things a little bit differently. We need to start thinking, okay, what are the things we need to do so that we can go out and get another bounty? We can get a harvest. And right now, this is a time where you have to double, triple, quadruple down, right? There is 30 to 50% less inventory in every market in the US. We are seeing that it takes more conversations now than it has in the last decade to get belly to belly with somebody. We're seeing that across the board. You guys are getting the objection probably every single day that we're going to wait for interest rates. We're going to wait through the elections. We're going to wait to see what happens. We're going to wait for this. We're going to wait for that. We're not sure. Well, we're thinking maybe instead of buying a new house like we wanted, we'll just remodel our current house. When we're in the season that we're in right now, Cody, and I would say we're like a fall, winter, and I would say this is a time where we need to start as agents thinking about what we're going to do, because I think there's a lot of people that are going to come out of this winter and they're not going to be in real estate.
I think one of the biggest things that every business owner, and something I've learned along the way, is that what we do over the next 60 days is going to impact October.
Yep.
And I think we get it twisted in business where we think that it's like, oh, I'm going to wait to market my business until the fall. I hear that a lot. I'm going to wait to market my business until the fall.
Right.
When it's like, even if it's not necessarily spending money on marketing, you still need to be thinking about what actions are you going to put in place right now in order to generate the types of business that you're looking for. Like, we had a conversation with our team today, and we were taking a look at just July, and we're taking a look at numbers, and we had a decent July. We've had a decent July, but we haven't had the ideal July we wanted to have.
Sure.
And it's like, we had to, I think there's power in looking at your numbers weekly and right. Like, you're setting a goal for the next 60 days where I think a lot of people would really benefit by saying, okay, in October, I want to sell 3 homes.
Right.
Okay, what do you need to do from now until October in order to generate those 3 sales.
Well, it's just reverse engineering, right? Like
Totally.
if you know that in in October you want to do 3 sales, well, you should probably start tracking your numbers now.
Mhm.
Like on our team, we have a KPI tracker, and on the KPI tracker, right, if somebody is getting objections, we could start to break down, okay, why did they get an objection here? Like if you're opening up the call and you're getting hung up on before you can even be like, who are you and what are you doing? It's a tonality thing. 90% it's a tonality and a cadence thing.
And it could be a question you're asking too. I want to throw that out there as well. I'll give you an example. So we have a new client we're working with. They're like a home listing platform.
Right.
They're like an auction platform, and we had to build a brand new script for them. Very different, very different than your standard real estate agent, real estate team lead script. The first question we were asking was triggering sales resistance.
What was the question?
So the question we were asking them was, do you currently own a home, or are you actively looking?
So what was the script up until that part?
So it was like, Vikram deal. Yeah. Oh, Rob asked me to give you a quick call in order to get access to our free home listing platform. If you don't mind me asking, are you actively?
So if you don't, so I would get rid of, if you don't mind me asking. I do actually mind that you ask, so I would get rid of that.
I disagree because it's a permission-based question, but we flipped it to, when you look for properties, are you actively looking on Zillow or are you actively looking on Realtor.com? And by flipping that question,
go ahead.
By flipping that question, we drop sales resistance because those are the 2 top platforms, the sites that they're looking on. They're like, we're looking on Realtor.com. So we were able to get our foot in the door, and then we continued the conversation. So it's the consistent tweaking that our call center manager, Ali, does, like listening to calls, being like, hey, this is the objection we're getting.
Right.
Here's what I think we should do in order to drop this objection. And literally by changing that one line, we went from consistently getting hung up on to, we set, for the one team, we set 4 appointments yesterday. For the other team, we set 2 appointments.
And the reason I wasn't saying that like your question's bad, it's just kind of like a question. It's a permission-based question that a lot of salespeople ask.
Yeah.
And so, like oftentimes, right? Because I have a sales coach, right? Like I have a sales coach. I've had a sales coach for a long time. Sometimes I go away from the sales coaching and I do more like systems and strategy, and then I come back to the sales coach, because at the end of the day, like if I let myself get rusty, it takes me a long I know myself, man. So if I get crusty and rusty, dude, you saw me for 6 months. I didn't want to pick up the phone. You're like, yo, Vic, just book appointments. Like, you know what you're doing. I'm like, I'm crusty and I'm rusty and I don't want to do it. And then once I build my process, I have no problem getting on the phone. But until I know what I'm going to say, and I'm good at what I do. Like I've done sales for a long time at a very high level. But at the same time, like if I get crusty and rusty, which is what a lot of agents get, right? Or a lot of agents never even had the opportunity because they didn't come from like a sales world. So they start out like 10 notches below like somebody who had some sales experience. Mm-hmm. And today I was on my call with my coach, and we're talking about calling back old leads. And he's like, all right, Vic, let's hear your script. And I was like, ring, ring. Hey. He's like, okay, so your tonality is not triggering. He's like, your cadence isn't triggering, but you're not using like transitions. You're not using verbal pauses. Like, he's like, I can tell you're reading the script. He's like, and he's like, you already memorized all the questions, Vikram. Like, we're just putting a different opener in the script. Like it's 3 lines different, but those 3 lines, because they were new to me, right? Those 3 lines that were new to me, and I've sold hundreds of millions of dollars. I've made, I think I added it up. It's like $8.5 million in my life in commission. I don't know where the money, I know where a lot of it went, but we worked on tonality. We worked on cadence. We worked on delivery, because I can give the worst script in the world to a great person that can deliver it, and they're not going to elicit a ton of sales resistance. But I can give the worst delivery person in the world the greatest script, and they're going to get hung up. Bam, 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 because they're triggering people with their tone.
Yeah. I think a lot of it has to do with like confidence too. Like when I listen to a lot of so I was listening to a live appointment call the other day, and I was just auditing like some of its tone, but some of it's like it. I could tell the person on the other end of the phone wasn't confident and didn't know how to make the other person on the end of the phone, the prospect, feel comfortable.
Right.
And that's a skill to make them feel comfortable, to build enough rapport in the beginning where you make that prospect feel comfortable. And a lot of it has to do with like you feeling comfortable.
Right.
And like you said, like confidence and belief and transference of belief is often how successful salespeople get the results they're looking for. But like you had mentioned, from what you were saying, where it's like a lot of it had to do with like it just sounds like you just weren't confident with what you were saying at the beginning of the scripts. So because you weren't confident, it was like that confidence wasn't exuding, where it's like when we hop on Zoom calls, like I'm just like, okay, like let's go, let's do this. Like, because it's the repetition that creates the confidence. It's the competence.
Well, you're also role playing with your team 3 to 4 or 5 times a week. Right. So like when you role play, so my new sales setter, he's already booked like 10 appointments. Now, are the appointments sticky and showing and everything? No, because he's new. So like, as we work through it, he's like, okay, now I have the confidence to have the conversations. I'm booking the appointments. So that's a win. Now we have to figure out, okay, what is he saying on the calls? And here's the thing that I don't think realtors understand. Your script isn't like a lot. Your script isn't like I'm one and done. Your script is a living document that we are always tweaking and upgrading based off of your current market and situation, right? Like one thing, you might get a new lead source. You might go from, like open houses to like, hey, I'm making some money. Now I'm going to buy some leads so I can buy some time back. But that's a new skill set. So we might have to tweak the questions you're asking based off of the lead source. We might have to tweak the questions based off of the market. I guarantee you come November time, we're tweaking scripts and objections. I guarantee you come like October, November, it's a completely different conversation that we're going to be having with these people. Like, well, absolutely.
I think I love what you said about the lead source, because I think that a lot of people will try to apply the Zillow script to,
and it doesn't
like
work.
An online lead. It doesn't work because it's a totally different lead. It's like when you say when a lead gets a call from Zillow, they get excited because they have brand equity,
recognition.
They have brand recognition. They have brand equity. So it's like that conversation from Zillow. It's like you're just the agent. Like, like it's that is such a different beast in its entirety, where it's like, even if somebody from realtor.com calls you, the focus is so different, and the approach is so different than if you were to call like even a PPC Google lead. It's just a different conversation.
Right. What are we doing next week, Cody? Because I have a hard stop at 11. What are we doing next week?
We are running a 5-day lead and conversion challenge. It starts on Monday. I think we chose the time. I'm not sure if you accepted the time yet, but I know we're going to chat more about that tomorrow. It'll be, I'll post it in the link below. It's a 5-day lead and conversion challenge, or just DM either Vikram and I, and we can get you the link to the Facebook group. We have 30 agents, 40 agents in the group already.
Yeah, maybe even a few more. After last night, I saw a couple of new emails coming in, and I had a friend who just got into real estate. She's like, hey, I'm at like 4 million in sales. I've been in it for like 3 months. I'm like, how many transactions? She's like 3. I was like, all right, so it's like 1 a month. That's awesome. She's like, but I'm so like I think I've already burnt through like all of my database. Like, I think that's it for me. Like, I don't know how to generate leads. I was like, well, it's good that you got like $100,000 coming in, because we're going to have to use some of that money to get you some skills. And she's like, help me. Like, I don't want to lose momentum. And it's interesting that like brand new agents can come in and do really well. And then there's agents that are here that have been listening to the old people like in their office and don't get skills, don't hire a coach, don't do marketing, don't do this, don't do that. But remember, y'all, like, let's leave it on this. Are you taking advice from somebody who's where you want to be? Or are you taking advice from somebody who's hanging out at the water cooler?
Yeah, it's a good question.
Cody May, I'll see you soon. Everybody else, we will see you next Monday, and we're gonna jam it. And I think you looked at my calendar online, so I think it's 3 p.m. CST is what we're shooting for.
Yeah, it'd be 4 p.m. Eastern or 1 p.m. Pacific.
Let's
3
go,
p.m.
baby. Let's go, baby. All right, y'all.
See you
Take
guys.
care.